Hey guys, Ken Smith, KenSmithFishing.com. If you don't know who I am, I have a YouTube channel and a website where I give, so we live in Dallas, but we fish, we have a house down at Rayburn. So I came up with the idea a few years ago, basically because of an accident I was in on Grand Lake in Oklahoma. Excuse me, not on Grand Lake, on Fort Gibson, where I hit a rock wall and tore up my boat, and my buddy from Oklahoma said, "Oh, everybody knows that's there." And I didn't. So I came up with the idea of posting videos on Rayburn that were navigational guides, and those are all in a list right here in that corner. If you click on that eye, all those videos are in there. There's 2 sets of them actually. But I have also developed this into sort of a fishing report for Rayburn and Toledo Bend. I am a tournament angler, and I'm also a fun fisherman, and I film basically anytime I'm on the water, and I talk to you guys about what we're doing on the lake. So it's been an idea share, and early on I got the opportunity to get on the boat with Albert Collins and Glen Freeman. If you don't know those 2 guys, Albert is an extremely successful tournament fisherman on Rayburn, and Glen is extremely successful on Toledo Bend. And we did a series, again up here in the corner, you can go see that series, where we talked to them about deep structure fishing. We then did another series, again up here, with Clark Ream, FLW Tour Pro, where he taught us how to use our electronics to look for stuff offshore. And then most recently, which we're still in the process of those videos, it would be the Dickie Newberry videos, where we talked to Dickie about his first year on the FLW Tour. I'm leading you all to that because I posted a video a few weeks ago about fish care and about penalties for dead fish in tournaments, and got a lot of interesting feedback, some positive, some negative, some calling me a tree hugger. I think some guys kind of missed the point, and it doesn't matter. It created good discussion, and it created what's about to happen here. So from that conversation, my friend Brian Branham introduced me to Todd Driscoll. Now I knew Todd because I had fished against him before, but if you don't know who Todd is the head fisheries biologist for a region of Texas, which includes Toledo and Rayburn and Conroe and a bunch of the lakes around us. And I've talked to Todd, and he has agreed to meet with me and do a series of videos. Now, I have some topics that I am interested in learning about, fish care being one of them, at tournaments and during the day. He's done some really interesting studies on fish being released and how quickly they get back where they started. I also want to talk to him about spawning fish, because he knows more than anybody else I know about spawning fish. He's written some really interesting papers, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this. Now, before we did the video with Albert and Glen, I posted on here and said, "Hey guys, tell me your questions you want them to answer," and got great feedback and some of the best questions. Now, I am curious anyway when I get around really good fishermen like that. We're going to have an opportunity now to talk to the head fisheries biologist for our region about fishing. And oh, by the way, he also happens to be a really good tournament fisherman, so he gets what we think about. So I'm posting this video. Please share this video with your buddies, and you guys either in the comments below tell me what you want me to ask him, or topics that I've not thought about. I'm open to any of it, and I think he is too. Or you can email me at kensmithfishing@outlook.com as well. And we're going to get together. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks, because I want to give a little bit of time for you guys to give me your questions. And I think if we post them in the comments, those questions will create other questions that guys may have. And I think this is going to be a fascinating conversation. It's probably going to be several interviews with Todd, and I would love to even start a series with him. So if you've ever wanted the chance to talk to a guy who really all he's done in the last 15 or 20 years professionally is study our fisheries and our bass, obviously other species as well, this is your opportunity. So tell me what you want to know, and I will find out about it. We're still getting the Dickie Newberry videos up. We've got 2 up. I'll get the rest of them up, and actually I've got 1 up. I'll get the second one up in the next couple of days. And the last thing, behind this, I'm going to plug in the video I created the other day about the Father's Day boxes from 6 Cents. If you haven't seen that video, 6 Cents has created a $50 and $100 Father's Day box where you can just give a link to your wife or your kids or whoever might be buying you a Father's Day gift, and they can order it and get it delivered to you, or have it delivered to them, and they can give it to you on Father's Day. I had several guys say, hey, would you reshoot that last couple of minutes of that video and kind of lay everything out for me on a table so I can see what's in the 50 and what's in the $100 box. I'm going to do that right here, and then actually I'm going to do that on the back end of the video. So here's the Father's Day box from 6 Cents video. Again, please let me know what your questions are for Todd, and we'll get those posted up. And we've got other interviews we talked about last year, getting some more good structure fishermen out on the water on Rayburn this summer. We're going to do that. I finally got a really good mic set up, so we've got some good stuff coming. So thanks for tuning in. We're approaching 5,000 subscribers, and we're also approaching 1 million views, which is, to me, a really big milestone. I know guys get 1 million views in a month, but to me, that's a big milestone, so I'm really excited. So thanks for tuning in. Here's the Father's Day box stuff. Hey guys, I just told you I had something special for you for Father's Day. So we just got through Mother's Day, and let's face it, if you did what you should have done on Mother's Day, you spent for sure 50 bucks, and you might have spent 100 bucks or 200 bucks or 250 bucks. And Father's Day's coming up. It's middle of June, so we're a month away. We're right at a month away. And what we know on Father's Day is you're going to either get socks or underwear or a new wallet. That's the 3 gifts we get on Father's Day: socks, underwear, new wallet. And not to say that most of our wives don't look at us and think, boy, he really needs new underwear, because usually we really do need new underwear, but it's not what we want. We know what we want. We want fishing stuff. So I had this idea, and I approached the guys at 6 Cents with this idea, and they loved it. So here's what they've done for us. We have created in the link, there's a link below in the description where you can give to your wife or your loved one or your mom or whoever might, or your kids who might be buying you a Father's Day gift. And they have an option of one of 2 boxes. There is a $50 box and there is a $100 box. So it's more than $50 or $100 worth of gear, and I'm going to show you what you get in each one of those boxes. Each one of them will come in this nifty, which I love this, it's a 6 Cents fishing product bag. You're going to get, the first thing you're going to get, because you see me wear them all the time, I'm a really big fan, and you can see by my face, I'm very fair complected, so I always in the summertime wear a buff. So it's a cool 6 Cents buff, one of those things you see me wear up over my face. And then I talked with, so I've got specific baits I like to use in the late spring and summertime on Rayburn, and I really wanted to include those baits along with, I talked to Casey, the owner of 6 Cents. I said, tell me some of the things that are selling quietly that maybe I'm not using that I should be using, or some of the other guys aren't using that they should be using. And then I picked the colors on each one of these baits. So let me show you the $50 box first. So it's going to be 6 baits in the buff in the $50 box. The first one is a Movement L7. So an L7 is a really, really unique, it's a humpback bait. So the L7 is a 5/8 ounce bait. It runs 2 to 6 feet deep. It's a big long bait, you'll see. And the color I picked mainly because we're coming around, or the bluegill spawn's just about on and will be for a while. This is what's called custom bluegill. I think you can see that okay. And then the other one, again, a real unique motion you get from 6 Cents crankbait is the 80X. This one only runs 1 foot to 3 feet deep. So if you're fishing down on the south end, and hopefully as the grass comes back on the north end, these are really nifty baits when the fish are shallow to crank around on Rayburn. Also, just one of my favorite little crankbaits that they make is, and by the way, I didn't tell you the color on that one. The color on that one is, that's the baby, oh sorry, that one is the baby bluegill color, okay? On the Crush 50X, this is probably my favorite square bill bait. This one runs 2 to 5 feet deep. It's a 3/8 ounce bait, and that one is what's called Chartreuse Pro Blue. It's one of the top selling colors, and there's obviously a reason it's one of the top selling colors. Now, as the fish get a little bit deeper, this bait's turned sideways, so I'm going to pull it out for you. We also included in this box a Cloud 15. So a Cloud 15, no big surprise, runs right at 15 feet deep. They claim it at 12 to 19. According to the line size, I crank most of the time with 15-pound test, and that's a 15-foot bait. That is the Wild Shad It's very close to a sexy shad, but it's got more of a purple hue on top of it. It's a beautiful, beautiful bait. A bait that's selling like crazy for 6 cents right now is their hybrid jig. Whoops. And the cool thing about a hybrid jig is it can be fished like a flipping jig. It's got a big heavy hook on it, but it can also be fished like a football jig. Because I like throwing a big jig, it's a 3/4 ounce jig, and this particular one is in a color called tipped crawl. And then the last bait, and this is a bait, now this is more of a wintertime bait, but you can catch them year round on it because it's a different feel in the water to the fish. This is the Crush 75X flat. This is a really, really cool bait. That's the bait. The 75X, it's a 5/8 ounce bait. It runs down to about 5 feet deep. On 15-pound test, it's probably more of a 4 foot deep bait. Sorry. It is a 5/8 ounce bait. So a lot of times these flat-sided square bills that you pick up, which there's several makers, they make them too light. This is a bait that you can throw. I think this is one of the coolest offerings they have. And I have a deal. So I also, besides fishing Rayburn, fish Texoma pretty regularly. And on Texoma, I like cranking something that's throwing off a different vibration than what everybody else is throwing. And a lot of guys are out there throwing 1.5s or the 50. The flat side just gives off a different vibration. And I think I catch fish when I go behind guys throwing that bait. That one is called Shad Fantasy. And if you guys don't know this, so Casey, the founder of 6 Cents, was originally a custom lure painter. And that's why some of his colors are as amazing as they are and the detail is as high as it is. I think you can see on that, not only is there great color on that, there's also a scale pattern on that. So if you give your loved one of those, or the code below, and they want to buy you the $50 box, that's the $50 box. But hey, you deserve the $100 box. The $100 box has a lot more stuff in it, and something that I don't think most of you have in your tackle box. And we're going to show you this summer why you should have this bait in your tackle box. So you still get the buff, no doubt about it. You now get, and let me stack them up here and get this right. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so in the $100 box, you're going to get the same 2 baits we put in the other box, the L7 and the 80X. You're also going to get the flat-sided bait. You're going to get the Cloud 15. You're going to get a second flat-sided bait. Needless to say, I'm a big believer in that. We put the second color in there is the Supermodel Shad. Who doesn't want to get a supermodel for Father's Day? I can't believe Sarah just didn't yell at me from the other room after I said that. The same Crush 50X we had before. A second Divine jig, so you get 2 jigs. A second 50X in backwater bluegill. So those of you who don't know this, this is a bait. So, and by the way, I learned this lesson at Grand 2 years ago. A big chunk of Grand was very, very dirty, and all the locals were throwing black crankbaits. When you get in off-color water, that's a big deal. 6 Cents also makes a bait called Collins Crawl, Albert Collins. It is a black bait with white squiggly lines down the side. We decided to include this bait versus the Collins Claw, can't say that, the Collins Crawl, because this bait is slightly more neutral. You still, in the more murky water we have down here versus the really dirty water you get up on some of those highland reservoirs, or even some of our lakes here in Texas with all the rain this spring. This bait gives a nice dark profile, but you still get that brim pattern for the shad spawn. The other things we included in the $100 box is a Cloud 20. That's in a blue truce shad. This is something, this comes from Ray Hanselman. This, not specifically this bait, but Ray likes to throw a really big topwater lure. This is a bait that works like a spook. It throws a lot more water than a spook, and it's called the Mag Dog 130. It's a great big bait. This one's called, it's a Spanish bone is the color. Summertime, this bait moves a ton of water, and when you get a bite on that bait, you normally don't have to measure those fish. Speaking of, so this is something that I have quietly been doing on Rayburn quite a bit. I didn't get on a good bite last year, so I never got a video up on it, but it's the mag spoon. And I included two because this is a bait, you are eventually going to lose one of these baits. That's just the truth of the matter. But this is an amazing fish producer in the heat of the summer on deep structure fish. 20, and I'm going to show you this summer, 20-pound fluorocarbon. And I will tell you, guys are sitting here watching this video going, I'm going to lose it the first time I throw it. If you will fish this and not set the hook every time you feel like you have a bite. When fish eat this, they don't turn it loose. This is a big decision. They've gone and eaten this big thing. If you will just wait and make sure it's a fish swimming with it and not a tree before you pull on them. This is very much like an Alabama rig. As long as you don't jerk on it really hard, the weight of the bait is so great. If you get over the top of it and just jiggle it, 90+% of the time, this bait's going to come free. I told Casey this is something I've been doing for a while. I want guys on Rayburn and Toledo to know about this bite. This was a huge deal on Kentucky Lake, but interestingly, with their Asian carp problems, this bite has slowed down a lot. If you never saw the video Kelly Jordan put up a few years ago, just raking them on this bait. It was the first guy I ever knew to catch them. This is one gigantic, really fun bait to catch fish on, and you catch great big ones on this bait. So that's our $100 box. Again, the link is in the description below. You can just give that link to your loved one. They can go on, they can order whichever box that they want to for you. And I think you guys know we did a Rayburn Big Bass Splash box a few weeks ago with the guys over at Tackle Freaks, and we sold them out in 19 minutes. The 6 Cents guys promised me we're not going to sell these out in 19 minutes. They've made a bunch of these boxes for us. I don't know the exact number, but if you want to get one, I would suggest you get this coupon code, or not the coupon code, but the link over to a loved one in the next couple of weeks. I'll post this video more than once, but I think this is a really cool deal. It's funny, I love the bag almost as much as I love everything else, the buff, all the baits. This is a cool deal. I'm real excited to offer for you guys, and it's all, every bait in this box is baits I have used and baits I like using and colors that work on the lakes that I fish. So I think you will enjoy all this, and maybe you get some socks and some underwear as well, but I think this is a pretty good Father's Day gift. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the water in the next few weeks. So here is the $50 box. It's going to come in a neat bag like that from 6 Cents. From the left, that's a Cloud 15. That's a Crush 50. That is a Movement 80X. That's a flat, excuse me, I was moving. That is the flat 75X square bill. That right there is a Movement L7, a swim jig, and then a buff. That's, I think, $65-ish worth of stuff that'll come to you at Father's Day, and your loved ones will pay $50 for it. Let me show you the $100 box. By the way, I got a message this week from 6 Cents where they said, wow, we're surprised your people are buying a lot more $100 boxes than they are $50 boxes. And I said, well, yeah, it's a great deal. So here you go. The $100 box from the left is going to have a Cloud 20. It's going to have a Cloud 15. It's going to have an L7 and an 80X. It's going to have 2 Crush 50s. It's going to have 2 flat 75Xs. That one of my favorite baits, that Mag Dog 130, that's that big topwater bait, 2 of the Magnum spoons, a buff, and 2 3/4 ounce hybrid jigs. That is, it's on their website. It's $120 or $130 worth of baits, and that is all in the $100 box. So there you go. The link for all of this stuff is below in the description. Thanks, guys.